Hello and welcome to the next instalment in this series, all about onboarding and how as a VA that you can give a really great onboarding experience to your clients. So today we're talking about managing that onboarding experience when you don't want to pay for a software subscription. So something like Dubsado, for example, where it can handle this process for you. You're not in that position yet. You're wanting to just do it simply by yourself using free software or things that you already use. So I know as a VA, you're very details focused, you hate forgetting things, thinking that you're missing steps, or letting things slip through the net. That's not you. By managing your process correctly, you can eliminate that, and you can eliminate the errors that can be caused when you do forget steps. And it happens to everybody. You know, when I first started out, I used to forget things now and again as well. It happens to everybody, and it's okay. However, there are things that you can do behind the scenes to mitigate that. So we're going to look at a way today to manage your onboarding process for free using software that you probably already use on a daily or weekly basis. So you're looking for a simple process, doesn't cost the earth. Maybe you're just starting out as a virtual assistant, or maybe you have a couple of clients, but you're not in a position where you want to upgrade to Dubsado, for example. So I'm going to introduce you back to the world of spreadsheets and managing your clients using a spreadsheet. Now, personally, I'm Team Google, so I'm Google Sheets all the way. I think the functionality is incredible in them, being able to link through, and it just works for me. But Excel is absolutely fine to use as well. So let's think about an Excel or a Google Sheet. So what we're going to do is note our process along the top. So on the top of each column, I want you to write what the steps are of your process. You know, do this for the client, do this, send this, send this. Put that along the top. Down the side is your client names. If you want to just use initials or company names, that's absolutely fine. But something where you can identify which client it is as well. And then you're going to find the checkbox function. So on Google Sheets, you would go to Insert, and then down the bottom of that drop-down menu, there's Insert Checkbox. And I want you to put checkboxes along the whole grid. So every single cell is filled with a checkbox. And then you work from left to right. You follow your process along. So whatever that first part of the process is, you find the square for your client. So maybe it's complete discovery call questionnaire, something like that. You check it when it's done, and you do exactly the same. You just follow it through, follow that process through. So a really important thing to remember is use the grid line function, or use colors. Use something where it's really obvious to put a line in a process, almost like a stop, a pause after that point. And I'll give you an example of where you might want to put that. So as we know, we should never work with a client if we haven't got a signed contract or they haven't agreed to your standard terms of business. So what I would do in my management spreadsheet is, after that point where I've put send contract to client, I'm going to put a big black line, something that's like an obvious marker in, where I know that if I go back to that spreadsheet, the next thing is really obvious that can't go forward unless that checkbox is ticked. Now, it's not a workflow, it's nothing automated, nothing's going to actually happen. It's a reminder to yourself that that's a stop in the process, and you have to have all of those checkboxes ticked up to that point to allow the workflow to continue after that. So use whatever you want, colors, markers, grid markers, whatever you want to do to make sure it's obvious to you to put a pause in the workflow there. Now, when you use a checkbox and you work left to right as if you're reading, you can very clearly and at a glance see where you are in that process. We read left to right. It's completely normal for us to look along a process and be able to see where we are and see any steps that have been missed. I would also add a section in for notes as well at the end of that process, so you can make a note to yourself. So maybe you want to colour in a square and then write a note, a corresponding note to that. But it's just a way of keeping everything in one place. Often when we start out, we're using our inbox to manage people and having to go back in and check where things are. So it's really great to have it all in one place. Now, what I would recommend you do is create a shortcut or bookmark it on your browser if it's a Google Sheet. Put it somewhere obvious, right in the middle of your desktop or on your bookmark bar, so you can actually use this. Client management and spreadsheets, they're only useful if you actually keep them up to date. So make sure it's really, really accessible to you and somewhere that you're going to use. So if you're watching or reading this before August 30th, 2021, you can actually access this a version of this spreadsheet that I'm talking about with the whole process mapped out already for you. for your onboarding as part of my Optimize Your Onboarding course. There'll be a link in the article. You can buy it through the VA Pro magazine. If you're reading this afterwards, it's actually still available in my client journey in a box, which is available on my website, which is like a template bundle as well. Alternatively, you can just have a go at making one yourself. Of course, the first step is to map out your process. You need to know what that process workflow is along the top for your onboarding. But once you've done that, have a go and manage your clients in one place and just level up from that email, paper notebook, sticky note version of what you've got at the moment. Level up to a spreadsheet, and then when you're ready, and if you feel you need to, then you can upgrade to something like Dubsado or HubSpot, a CRM that manages your clients. But there's not necessarily a need to. Certainly in the first instance, try the spreadsheet. I hope that's helpful. I look forward to hearing from you if you jump over to Olivier Consultancy on Instagram or Facebook. I would love to know if you've made a spreadsheet, what it looks like, and how it's working for you.